welcome to the Hometown Church Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jesse Roskamp, and today I'm joined by a wonderful guest, someone I've been really excited to get on the podcast for a while now, Bryan Haville. Bryan, how you doing today?
Hey, Jesse. Thank you. Good to be here. Super excited for the opportunity.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. We had a conversation a while back that kind of led into this. That really inspired me to kind of want to make this series in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I think it's really interesting what you're doing and kind of the role that you have in the church right now. And what we're doing on the podcast right now is we're kind of doing this little bit of a series where we are talking about our divine focus, which is something that's kind of new to our church, but something that we've been talking about in our leadership circles, right? Our mission as a church is to make healthy disciples who passionately love Jesus and authentically love people. And so we kind of, as a leadership group, narrowed that into 5 areas to make us better at that mission, right? Mm-hmm. So we call it our divine focus. It's the 5 things that we want to be excellent at, not just good at. And so those things are the Sunday experience, right? It's missions and outreach, it's leadership development, it's teens and kids ministry, and
Small groups.
Thank you. I was like, it's worship. No, it's not. It's something else. That's part of the Sunday experience. But today we're talking about an aspect of our Sunday experience, and that is worship. And you have kind of jumped into this new role just in this last year, right? When did you get recognized as a deacon?
Yeah, it was about a year ago, almost to the month.
Yeah. So about a year ago, and I was just thinking, like, a few months ago when we had this conversation initially, I'm like, I don't really know what you do as a deacon.
Sometimes I feel the same way.
Yeah, like, I know you got recognized, but I'm like, I'm not really sure what his role actually is. So maybe we can start this conversation off just right there, and you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role as a deacon.
Yeah. Like you said, my name is Bryan Haville. My wife Melissa, and I have been coming to Hometown for 9 years, roughly, with our 4 kids, and it's been awesome. I grew up loving to sing. Mm-hmm. I was in choir and show choir and all of that, and so as a deacon, my role has sort of morphed into being involved in a lot of the music side of things, which is a lot Sunday service, but a lot of the other divine focus areas too, which has been really cool. And music for me has been a really unique journey. I think when people think of music, so often there is they come with sort of that edge to them. Musicians have their own sort of stereotype, and I picked up a guitar when I was in college. I sort of self-taught myself guitar, simply to sort of goof around a fireplace and just jam with some buddies, which turns out I actually still don't really do, but God had just so many other plans for me and that. And so got sort of a step into the worship leading arena. In college, I was asked to participate in a college band that on Friday nights we'd lead worship for 2 to 3 hours. It was just kind of like as long as it was supposed to go for roughly 100 plus college students. And man, I got to tell you, I made so many mistakes in that time period, and just goofy things spoken into a microphone that should never be said from the stage. And I just, so many mistakes, and people were so gracious with me to walk alongside me and teach me what not to do. And in loving correction in all of that. And so that was sort of my start into the music world at church in particular. And I guess from there, I had a job out in Madison, Wisconsin, and helped the teens there, or got plugged into the teen ministry at a church there, and was leading worship for these teens. And by the time we left Madison, the teens had started to come forward and say they wanted to help, they wanted to play. And when I left, I remember standing in the back watching 7 teens lead their peers in worship, and just the courageousness of that was overwhelming to me. And I was just bawling in the back of that church, watching these amazing young people lead their friends in worshiping the Lord, and it was really cool. And
Yeah.
so it was super fun.
That's awesome.
When we moved to the Minneapolis area, we got plugged into a very, very tiny church. It was like 40 people. And I loved music. So I reached out to the music guy at that point and said, hey, I'd love to, help flip slides or run the soundboard, move some dials around, however I can help. I love music. And he says, let's go out for lunch and talk about that. And I thought, well, that's kind of a weird ask, but yeah, let's go meet for lunch. And it turns out that this guy, him and his wife had been working for 2 different churches, and for their entire year of marriage, they had never gone to church together. And I was like, that seems pretty unhealthy. Like that's crazy. And so he says, well, so what do you think about taking the whole thing over? And I was like, wait, I went from flipping slides to taking the whole thing over. That's not what I asked for, And so we prayed about it, and God had something crazy in store. And so dove in for 7.5 years. I was the guy who picked all the songs and led the band and set up the instruments and the stage and whatever. And for 7.5 years, I led every week, and man, I loved it. I loved it. And it was where sort of my passion for authentic, real worship came, because I didn't have anybody to impress. All 40 people were my great friends. And so we were just jamming together, and I just loved it. And so sadly that church closed, but we got to come to Hometown, which has been awesome. And so once a month or so at Hometown, I get to lead on Sunday mornings. And I have found that I love so much those big, huge multi-campus gatherings where we get to just all come together and all just praise the Lord together. And so all of that to say that's a pretty long-winded answer to your simple question, but a lot of my focus in the deacon role has been around music, and this sort of music side of our Sunday service, the music side of our missions and outreach, how to engage in leadership development along the way, and I'm super excited about it. I think from a music perspective, because of my sort of roundabout way into music, I don't feel like I have a lot to offer musically to anybody in the band. They're all such incredible musicians. We have an amazing, blessed team of musicians across all 3 campuses. It's really amazing. And so I don't feel like my role as a deacon is really music focused at all. It is more on that leadership development side of things, and really a pursuit of making healthy disciples.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's wonderful. Yeah, when you started telling me about that, because I was like, well, we have Dan Dibbing and Dave Dury. Like, we have these guys who are like in charge of like putting the bands together, teaching people how to play music,
and they're
like,
so good at it, man.
Yeah,
they're so good.
So I was like, when you started telling me that, like, oh, this is part of your role is less on the music end of things and more on the discipleship end of things, I was like super intrigued, because I was like, I didn't even really like think about that. I'm like, you just need people who are talented, know what they're doing, just get them up on stage, right? So share with me just like a little bit about what your responsibilities are in this role and what you're hoping to accomplish with it.
Yeah, I mean, in the discipleship arena, we're all sold out on making healthy disciples who passionately love Jesus and authentically love people. And I know in my own like heart and soul, if I walk in on a Sunday service and have not spent any time with the Lord throughout that week, I have nothing to offer. I'm coming there to simply consume in my own way. And so there's no overflow of what God is doing. And so I can't lead anybody in that. I mean, you can sort of fake it. But the idea and the heart is let's come like that cup that overflows. Let's come full so that we have everything to give, as opposed to needing to be filled up in that moment. And so I've been meeting with some of the worship leaders throughout all of the summer, and it's been sweet to just love on each other and dive into what we're doing, and really hyper focus on the other 6 days of the week, because we can show up on Sunday, and musically people are gifted enough in our church to show up and play. There's kind of nothing spectacular about the extra practice or whatever. People are musically gifted enough to say, like, here are the 4 songs we're singing, playing, and so that they could just show up and play. But we're leading a congregation of people, and one of the things that has sort of dawned on me a lot lately is music makes up roughly 50% of the service on Sunday. It's like 50% of the time. And if we don't take our role seriously, like our teaching pastoral team has done, they've leveled up their game. They've critiqued each other. They've gone through a lot of refinement over the years and have made themselves better. And we own the other 50% of service. And if we don't also sort of match their gusto, their pride in that, and maybe pride is the wrong word, but their like resilience to going after and getting better, we're going to plateau and sort of leave people wanting more potentially or whatever, or leaving the Lord out of it. There's risk at leaving the Lord out of it, I think, if we don't come with a heart that's ready to overflow.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I think you can tell when it's like being faked on stage, or it's like it's not coming out of that place of an overflow. I really like that idea of like it's something that's just like spilling out of us and reaching other people, rather than something that's coming so you can get your fill up for the week, right?
Totally.
Yeah. I'm also curious just your thoughts on like where the line is there then between performance and authenticity, in that like we want to come and we want to give our best, like you guys as worship leaders, you want to come, you want to give your best. Where's that line between we're just doing it, we're faking it, we're kind of putting on a show to make people happy, to give people the thing that they really want, the hype and all that kind of stuff, versus like an authentic worship experience? Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I think to some of that, I just want to acknowledge that week after week after week stuff happens. And so there's for sure going to be weeks when people walk in and are just not ready, haven't spent the right amount of time with the Lord, or have had a really rough work week or something like that. And I think the beauty in discipleship, and really the thing that God has stirred my heart in this role and this opportunity, is to come alongside those people, right? Like even as the guy who's leading the congregation, maybe I have a tough week. Well, I know that the rest of the band that's with me can hold me up that week in a really cool way. And I think that there's something beautiful in discipleship, even in that regard. And so I think there's authenticity in being vulnerable, and the vulnerability of, hey, I'm coming in flat this week. I need your help. And I've had some pretty cool conversations with band members and other people around that, which is just a sweet moment to watch the Lord work. I also think then from the authenticity side of things, I have been long convicted that it is not my job to make you worship. And I think that statement is like a really weird way to say, like, I actually can't make you worship the Lord. I can distract you so that I'm taking you out of an atmosphere to give you the best chance to worship the Lord and spend time with him. But I can't force you to do it. Yeah. So what I can do in my own strength is worship the Lord authentically, passionately, with everything that I have. And one of the things that I heard somebody said to me long ago, that has really resonated with me, and is something that has stuck with me kind of forever. It's been kind kind of who I see myself as. This person said, "You're not called to simply lead worship. You're called to be a lead worshiper." And I loved the flipping of that version.
Yeah.
Because I can get up on stage and sing and proclaim God, and it honestly shouldn't for me look any different whether I'm on stage or off stage.
Yeah.
I'm called to be a lead worshiper.
Yeah. I love that. I love that change of perspective, and how you put it there. It's not your job to make me worship, right?
Yeah.
Like just like we can tell if someone on stage is being inauthentic, right? By how they're going, whether they're putting on a show or whatever it is, like you can tell in your own heart too.
Totally.
When I'm just going through the motions, I know there's days where I'm like, man, I'm not really feeling it, but I know these words, so I'm just gonna kind of like nod along. I might put my hand up or something to make it look like I'm worshiping even more than I am.
Yeah. Oh man.
And
yeah.
so I think
Guilty.
Yeah, just like having that mindset of like it's gonna be what you put into it, right?
Totally.
And yeah, so I think that's awesome. So what makes you so passionate about worship then?
I think then, in order for me to answer that, I think I've had to do a lot of sort of diving into what is actually worship, right? So, so often when I say worship to you, you think of
music,
singing.
bands, yeah,
right. So does everybody. You are a worship leader, which means you play the music at church.
Yeah.
And so as I've pursued this thing of what is worship, singing is a form of worship for sure. It is biblical. The Bible tells us to worship the Lord in song and hymns and spiritual songs, psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Yeah. And I love that. But one of the verses, I'd actually love to read it. I got it open right here. I'd love to read it. One of the verses that stood out to me the very most in my pursuit of what is worship is Romans 12:1. And I'll just read it. It says, "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all he has done for you. Let them, your bodies, be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him." And that always stands out to me because the thing that stands out to me the very most in that verse about what is worship is that there's actually zero mention of music.
Yeah.
It's not in there at all. Instead, we are to give our bodies to God because of all he's done. That's everything. Give our bodies as a living and holy sacrifice because of what Jesus has accomplished.
Yeah.
And that is worship. And so on a stage, playing music, giving what is a holy sacrifice of my giving look like? Well, I want it to be real. And I've often told a lot of people, if ever there's a moment when you can tell that I don't believe what I'm singing, I need to be done. I need to step down at least for a period of time and be done. Because it's not about me singing on a stage. This is the God of the universe we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I think that in particular makes me so passionate about worship, because worship is singing, but it's so much more than that. It's our whole lives. And that is amazing. And when I guess I step back and think about it, I have complete confidence in what Jesus Christ has done for me. And I'm a sinner in need of a savior, and he alone has done that for me. And so that's because of what he's done for you, part of this. And so as a response, I want to give him my everything. So if singing is the way that I'm going to do that, I'm all in. If something else is the way that he wants me to do that, I'm in, because I want to worship him.
Yeah.
For what he's done.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. I love that verse. I was like, when you started talking, I'm like, I know exactly where he's going. He's going Romans 12:1, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah. And that image of like a living sacrifice is so powerful. Because it's almost like an oxymoron, right? Right?
Totally.
Like a sacrifice is something that you slaughter and kill and
dies.
give up to God, right?
Yep.
And so this idea of, and that I think that's the trusting and having full confidence in what Jesus has done for you, that we get to be a living sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to die, but we have to die to ourselves.
Right. It's laying aside what you want.
Yeah.
For the better of glory of God.
Yeah. And so often, I think in worship in the singing sense, right, we cannot do that. We can just like, you know, I'm going to sing my best so people notice how good I am at singing.
Totally.
You know, and it's like, it looks like worship on the outside.
Yes.
But on the inside, it's like, you're not doing that at all. You're just doing this for your own glory.
Yeah.
But then if you do that in the rest of your life too, if that's how you're worshiping God in your actions and your righteousness and your good works, like, are you doing it just, that's the Sermon on the Mount, right? It's just like, are you doing it just to be seen? Are you doing it just to be noticed by people, to get the praise of people?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it because you actually see and appreciate the glory of God and you think that he's worth giving everything that you have to him?
Amen. That's the passion.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, like, passion in what you're saying could look like raising your hands. It could look like clapping. It could look like shouting and proclaiming. It could also look like falling to your knees in humble worship, or just standing still and not even singing and just letting the words flow over you as you just weep before the Lord and what he's done for you. And all of those things are sort of a response to what God is calling us to do in worship. And it looks different for everybody, but the heart of the matter is what really matters.
Yeah.
The heart, your heart posture towards the authenticity of what God has accomplished for you and how you're going to respond to him and what he's done it's a heart issue.
Yeah.
Again, like, I can't make you worship. I also don't want you to raise your hands for me. You know, like, that's, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I also don't need you to like clap and cheer for me.
Right.
Cause that's not a performance. I'm not on stage. You're not coming to a concert.
Right.
It is a participatory, communal, collaborative thing where we are all worshiping authentically God because of what he has done.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Do you think the other story that came to my mind, and do you think this is connected at all, is Jesus with the Samaritan woman at the well, where he says that there'll come a day when worshipers of God will worship in spirit and truth. Do you think that idea is connected there, of like what that means to worship in spirit? Is this like authenticity and offering yourself up as a living sacrifice?
I think so. I mean, I think that's a good question. If this is where you're going, I think it is so easy to get wrapped up in what the person next to me thinks. And so if I'm acting a certain way, or my eyes are closed and my hands are raised, that he is deep in worship, and I could just be doing it for show. But in spirit and in truth, I'm doing what only the Lord is asking me to do in that moment. That we are corporately gathered together, but I'm interacting vertically with the Father as we are horizontally linking arms together to walk the battle.
Yeah.
And so that's at least what comes to mind. I'm not sure that that's where you're going with the question, but in spirit and in truth, I think of it being between me and God what I do. As soon as it becomes showy, I've lost spirit and truth in that.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of where my mind was going with it. It's just like, it's because it's the tension that was between the Jews and the Samaritans, right? It was like where do we worship? Do we worship in Samaria? Do we worship in Jerusalem? And it became all about the practice of the worship. Like, where do we do it? How do we do it? Are we doing it the right way rather than who are we worshiping to?
Right.
And I think that's the point that Jesus was trying to make, is just like, you can do it anywhere. You
Right.
can do it in any way. It doesn't matter the practice, as long as it's authentic and as long as it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that gets to how the misconception of what is church today, right? Like
Yeah.
church so often is defined as the building that we meet in, not the people that are in it.
Yeah.
And I think that people make church, and we can have church right now. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Talking about the Lord, this is great.
Yeah. Yeah. This is spirit and truth.
Spirit and truth. That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So how do you think that, maybe that's a good way to segue into like, misconceptions around worship. Do you think that kind of our idea of what church is today has kind of affected our misconception of what worship is?
I think people are so stuck on themselves, myself included. And so I think as a result of that, we sort of get stuck in I have to perform a certain way. I have to do a certain thing. We have to play certain songs in a certain order. And we can only clap at these moments. We can, we need to stand together. And so I think the rote nature of what is the quote acceptable way to do church is a misconception, right? Because you talk about corporate worship being a thing, and that's awesome, but worship, it goes so far beyond what we do on a Sunday service, and there's so much opportunity for us to worship in lots of different ways, and so I think there's a just this stuck nature of this is how we do it, so this is how we have to do it, and I'd love to see how we can step out of that sort of mold of being stuck in this is what it has to be.
Yeah. So do you think we need to make more space for that or I guess maybe how do we make more space for that? Because I think one of the things I've kind of heard just in conversations with people is sometimes it can feel like, well, we sing the songs, we get through the song, and like that's it. Then once the songs end, go to the next song. Once that song's ends, we go into the sermon, and then we have like our structure and we stick to our structure.
Sure.
Like, do you think we need to make more space, or how do we create more space to kind of have that flexibility a little bit to listen to the Lord while we're worshiping, to respond authentically?
Good question. I think that's one of the things we're starting to try to dip our toe into a little bit in the music world of things. One of the things that I guess I'm super aware of is that so often we get into you play 3 songs and then there's a small 2 second, 3 second, 5 second, sometimes feels like eternity seconds gap in between song 1 and song 2, and then song 2 and song 3. And so people don't know what to do in that quiet, still space. And so one of the things that has been resonating with me for a few years now is we have 25 minutes. Instead of 3 songs, we have 25 minutes. And if we choose in that moment for us to only play one song for 25 minutes, we'd have to do it pretty creatively so people don't check out. But it could also be crazy powerful. Yeah. And so if we just like zoom in on the 25 minutes as opposed to the 3 songs, it starts to open the doors a little bit to what is it that I'm trying to do here in my time to lead a congregation of people to be able to most authentically interact with the Lord. And that's super exciting. I think one of the other things we're starting to try to do is allow the bands to sort of follow each other. So as we get better at playing together, we can listen to each other and pick up on the different cues that each of us are doing. And so if I, as the worship leader, want to say, we're going to actually go around and do that again, I can call an audible in real time and be like, let's go and do it again. And that's actually, that reminds me of a cool moment I had at a big conference. There were people from all over the world gathered, missionaries from all over the world gathered. We were out in Germany. It was sweet. And all of these missionaries are joined together and we're singing and we're worshiping the Lord. And all of a sudden, the leader, the person who was singing in the microphone, leading us in worship, says, while the band is still playing, she kind of stops her singing and says, you all just sang those words, but didn't believe them. You just kind of like went through the motions of it. And it was like, oh yeah, dang, she just called us all out, like in a really loving way, but was like, you all just kind of phoned it in. And the band just kind of kept playing behind her and kind of just jamming, riffing on whatever. And she was like, we're going to do it again. And we went back and did it again. And it actually changed the trajectory of the whole weekend. Everyone took it seriously from there on out. There was never a question. And everything changed in that moment. And she just picked up on it, was aware of what was happening, and allowed God to say, no, call them out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Do it, and do it loving. And then we're going to come back and authentically worship the Lord. And it was cool, man.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. How difficult is that on maybe from both perspective of like the band side of getting the band to a place where they're listening and are attentive and can be flexible in the moment, and also from getting the congregation to kind of switch their perspective on it too.
I think that's super tricky. I think it's super tricky. And I think the thing that I practice the very most when I'm getting ready for a Sunday morning is actually what to do or say in the like non-singing parts, so that I have the opportunity to help lead the congregation. Because again, if I'm singing a song and nobody's singing with me, that's a performance.
Yeah.
And I'm not super interested in that. I'm mostly interested in, even with a new song, helping people join as fast as possible. And so if a new lyric is coming up and I can, in between breathing and singing, say what that's going to be and lead them into that, then they can join me quicker. And so I spend a lot of time trying to think through those transitions and how to get people to be and stay engaged in what they're doing. I think the other part to that is that we sing the songs that we sing all the time. We know them. And those who've been coming around church for a long time probably don't need to look at the lyrics too much anymore to know how to sing the song. So how do you keep that song super fresh in your mind? How do you not just sing through the motions of how he loves us, how he loves us, and you just sing it over and over and over. No, God really loves you. Do you believe that? Because that's what you're singing.
Yeah.
That keeping that how he loves us song fresh every time is really challenging. And I think sometimes we got to mix it up a little, right? Like catch people off guard and be like, we're going to do it a little different, or we're going to do it in a different order, or we're going to sing the same thing more than we have historically, until it resonates with you and sinks in, and you're like, oh, now I believe it. Yeah. Now I'm not just singing it.
Yeah. I think that's such a tough thing, because that's something I found myself like falling into a lot. It's just like I get so familiar with these songs that it just becomes words. And I love that kind of like switching up maybe like a word or phrase, like how he loves us. Every once in a while I get switched up to how he loves me. And then I got to like think like, oh, do I believe that? Am I actually like saying that? Because now I'm having to think about what the words are rather than just automatically going through it. And it just kind of like throws you off for a second long enough to like think about things.
Or even taking it from I'm declaring it, how God loves us, how he loves us, to saying, I'm going to now like pray it out loud, how
Yeah.
you love us,
Yeah.
how you love us, and sing to him.
Yeah.
An audience of
And
one,
just like
all of a sudden.
change
Yeah.
the perspective. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been something I've been like trying to incorporate into my own like worship and
I love
prayer
that.
life.
So good.
It's just like while we're singing songs, if there's like, there's like the woes and all that kind of stuff in songs, I'll like just try to like sing new words. And just to like get myself thinking about these things, like, am I actually like worshiping and praying? And I've been listening to a lot of like, usually for my like morning prayer time, I'll read, then I'll pray, and then I'll go for a walk, and I'll listen to worship music while I'm going for the walk.
Yep.
And I've stopped listening to a lot of the worship songs that I'm familiar with, and I started listening to a lot of like lo-fi stuff.
Okay.
Just stuff that's like more like beats and like feel like maybe a little bit of lyrics here and there, and then just praying through it and praying like lyrics through it and like singing through it, but just kind of like making stuff up on the spot.
Cool.
To like throw myself off, because I'm like,
Totally.
I start listening to the same songs. I'm like, yeah, I know these songs, and I get bored of them. And then you got to think about things. But like having that just like little switch up, just I think goes such a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just make sure your heart posture is in the right place. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. So we've talked kind of through a few of these things, but like, do you think there's any more keys to like creating and cultivating that effective worship experience? Or
I think, well, so in sort of a roundabout way, maybe I'll answer that question. One of the examples that comes to mind that I when you asked me to be on here, I really, really, really wanted to talk about because it's super unique and it's kind of unexpected. So there's a small group of teen girls that come to our Lakeville campus, and oh man, just thinking about it gets me emotional. So I'll muster through here, but these girls sit in the very front row, and it started as a really small group of people, and it has grown into 2+ rows of teen girls in the front row. And what I love about these girls is that they are authentic. They believe the words that they're singing, and they're coming to church on Sunday ready to give God everything that they have. And it's showing up. It's showing up in the way that they carry themselves throughout the week. It's showing up in their character. It's showing up in the way that they interact with their families and with their friends, and the way that they're going about life. It's showing up so much more than Sunday. But on Sunday, I think that these girls and their authenticity are leading the congregation from the front row more than I am on a stage, because they're believing what they're singing. Yeah. So there's words like, so I throw up my hands and I praise you again and again. Gratitude. And they do it. They actively throw up their hands and praise God again and again. Or battle belongs, it says, when I fight on my knees. And boom, some of them hit the ground. They're like, I'm fighting. Yeah. And it's an amazing thing to watch these girls lead our congregation. I think of don't let down, 1 Timothy, right? Like, don't let them look down on you because you're young. Set an example. And these girls are setting an example of what it looks like to authentically worship the Lord. And I think in the context of what worship could be, they're not doing it for anybody else. And there's beauty in that. And it's influential right now, which is super cool. And they're not doing it to influence anybody else. No. Yeah. But it's growing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's something that's influenced me, of just like seeing them. I'm not there on Sundays anymore. I like film in Bloomington now, but like it's been going on for a few years now.
I think so. Yeah.
So it was for sure since I've been there. And like just seeing them every Sunday and bringing it. I think that just goes to speak to like what you were talking about earlier, of just like, it's not on you to make people worship.
Totally.
Right? Like they choose to show up and give everything that they have and worship authentically on every Sunday. And then the level of influence that you can have on the congregation, not from the stage. Right? Like,
Totally.
Like I think we think of like, oh, we need better worship. We need people up on the stage doing all the things and like getting everybody hyped up. And it's just like, well, you can just show up and you can worship with everything you have and you can change the culture.
Yeah.
Just one person at a time.
Yeah.
And once everyone's worshiping, then you feel it. Then the Spirit is filling the room and you're
Totally.
like, oh my goodness, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes me so excited to do this. I think that's what makes me so excited to be part of it. Cause I can only influence myself, but then the ripple effect of that, of it being like a contagious thing is cool. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I just imagine a church full of authentic worshipers, and that goes so far beyond just Sunday service, right? Like, I think back to our divine focus areas. If we're spending time loving each other and authentically worshiping the Lord in small groups, or in leadership development, in loving each other and joining each other in discipleship, we're going to have a church full of healthy disciples who passionately love Jesus and authentically love people.
Yeah. And then it's just going to spread.
It's going to go.
It gets contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to take off.
Oh, yeah. And as you're talking, it just reminded me of a story that I think you told me a while back from MTOC a couple years ago, of like, I don't know if you remember this.
Keep going.
If you think, I'll let you take over whenever you remember. But like, you're talking about how it was at the end, I think it was like the closing ceremony of one of the MTOC services, and it was just this super powerful worship experience. And you had a bunch of people come up, like more than ever before. I think you were saying, of people coming up and saying like, "Wow, that was amazing.
It was so good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I do. Yeah. And the question I continued to ask everybody was, why? Why do you think it was so good? Like, what about it? And well, that's a good question. I guess maybe the songs were just really awesome for the moment, you know? That maybe. The worship leader was just on fire that day and just feeling it. Yeah. He brought it. He brought his A game, you know, like he was doing it. And as I continued to talk through it with people, it became very clear to me what I believe what the answer was. And with Mission to Our City, we spend days together in community, doing God's work, going out, spending time with God, spending time with each other, loving on people. And so by the time Sunday came, the end of the mission trip, we were full. We were filled up with God and what he had done. And we had gotten to witness lives changed, salvations happen, baptisms. We got to worship the Lord out at the beaches and do so many service projects. And we just got to watch God move. And so by the time we showed up on a Sunday morning, we were ready to give. And it was just this overflow, a sea of people that were like, I just watched God do some crazy things. I have a lot to be thankful for. I'm going to worship him with everything I got. And we did. And everybody brought it. And it was powerful.
It was a congregation of people pouring out rather than being filled up.
Amen. Like,
that's a beautiful worship service.
That's a beautiful worship service. I agree.
Yeah. Oh man. So what do you think are some of the biggest challenges you face in leading worship?
The challenge I have the very most is pride. Pride. Because it's so easy. We are a culture, we're inundated with a culture of me. Look at yourself, like take care of yourself. Look at what you can do. Think about yourself. And when I get up on stage and I play, the lights are on me. I have the microphone. And if I screw up, it is the band's job around me to make it look like I didn't screw up. They're supposed to follow me. And so everything about it is me. And even more so, like when the congregation starts to respond and they're like, oh, I got to put my hands up, and people are falling to their knees and they're giving that overflow. for me, it's hard not to be like, look at what I'm doing. I'm doing the thing, you know, like I did it.
I did it.
And so, so pride is super there. And I've even had people be like, oh, I just love it when you sing. And, oh, you're my favorite worship leader. And I appreciate the heart behind that. They're trying to pay a compliment. But man, selfishly, I'm like, yeah, you do. Like, of course, I'm awesome. You know, like, no. It's not about me. And so pride is first and foremost, like such a difficult battle, and it's every week, all the time. Yeah. But that's why we need Jesus. Like, that's why we need Jesus, and we need Jesus all 7 days of the week, not just on Sunday morning. I have to come with humble humility on a Sunday morning to give and to serve and to love because Jesus did for me. And I got that means I got to go to him throughout the week so that I'm ready to surrender myself and my pride and lay my life down for the congregation. I think some of the other ways that shows up is I often early on in my like music career in church saw myself as, well, I'm the music guy. So my job is to roll out the chords and plug in the instruments and turn on and off the soundboard and make sure everything works. And so when I am getting ready to play, I got to make sure all the music works. And when I'm done playing, I got to put everything away. And so my job is to stay on stage and take care of the music stuff. Well, God was like, you're a very familiar face. You stand up in front of people. People know who you are. Get your butt off stage and go say hi to them. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to hide. I want to stand behind my guitar and just be the introvert that I am. Yeah. God's like, nope, you got to go. And if I can, I just had this crazy cool opportunity. God swung the door wide open, and just a few weeks ago, new faces are coming into church all the time. And so I take my guitar off, go out by the exit doors to try to catch people just to say hi. And I meet this guy, and God's like, strike up a conversation with him. Ask him why he's here. Oh, what brought you to church? I've never met you before. What brought you to church? And he said something profound to me that I will never forget for the rest of my life. He said, I just want to be on the right side of good. And I was like, whoa, like, oh, okay. And then it was like, all right, God, you just like laid out a softball for me. Like, this is an easy one. Right. And I was like, all right, well, what makes you good? You know? And we talked for another half hour. And I got the chance to walk through the gospel with this guy and open the Bible and talk through scripture and read some cool verses and just talk about how confident he was to go to heaven. And he was like, I don't know, 60, 70%. And so we're chatting. And by the end, he's like, I want to do that. And I was like, don't do it for me. But he's like, no. I want to do that. I want to surrender my life to Jesus. How do I do that? And so we walked back up to the front of the church to where the cross was. And this guy prayed and accepted Jesus into his heart in that moment. And now we're in this interactive, text chain, just kind of seeing, checking in and going through stuff. But he's been reading through the Gospels, and it's really cool. But I would have never had that opportunity had I not had the chance to just take off my guitar and go talk, do something that was very uncomfortable for me, but I could hide behind the music and that would be completely justified, and no one would think any different of me, because that's my role. My role was music, but God was calling me to something different and greater. Yeah. And so yes, music, but yes, and all these other things. Oh, dude. It was awesome, man. Dude. It was life changing, and my kids got to be part of it too, man. In a cool way. Like, my kids were taking his kids and other kids kind of away to go play with them, so that we could see, focus on the conversation. Yeah. They could see the conversation. We could focus on the conversation, And man, it was a picture of the hands and feet of Jesus just at work in obvious fashion. And we were all holy sacrifice because of what Jesus had done. And we were all worshiping God together in this conversation that I got to have with this guy.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, dude. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's such a beautiful example of what happens when you just start focusing on the mission and loving people.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think you highlighted super well the biggest issues that most people face in whatever area of ministry that they're serving in. Right. Like if it's a front facing thing where you're on stage, you're doing whatever, people see you doing it.
Yeah.
Pride, huge.
Totally.
Like that's everyone deals
It's
with
easy.
it, right?
Yeah.
And if it's like something kind of towards the back, you're not getting as much recognition, but you have a job to do, and it can be so easy to get focused on that job. Like I fall into that constantly. Where
Sure.
It's like I got to do my cameras.
Yeah.
If I don't do my cameras, everything falls apart. Like that's not actually true, but like that's what I tell myself so that I could just do my cameras and not have to go talk to people.
The cameras are really important.
But it's just like when we stop being the Martha, right?
Yeah.
Focused on all these things that we have to do.
Yeah.
And just start looking at the people around us and how can I love Jesus by loving the people around me right now? And like the job can wait. The job's second.
For sure.
Right? Just go and look for people and listen.
Yeah.
And be responsive. Like, right, that's what worship is being responsive to God.
Yeah.
I think that's
because
awesome.
I passionately love Jesus, I can authentically love people.
Yeah.
So I want to listen.
Yeah.
I want to care. I get to hear stories. It's awesome.
Yeah. Dude. It's got me like juiced up now.
We
man.
can't hide. We can't hide behind our guitar, our camera. We can't hide. We got to go.
Yeah.
Because if the camera goes away, if the guitar doesn't exist, we can still go and make disciples.
Yeah. Amen, dude.
We can still go on that great commission.
Yeah. So what are some of our like short-term and maybe long-term goals for what we're envisioning for worship at Hometown?
Yeah. I think we kind of hit on some of it already, but I envision worship being so much more than Sunday, right? Like it has to be. And so that gets into discipleship and small groups. How do we get plugged into small groups, and how do we do leadership development so that we're leading people who can lead people who can lead people, and disciple people who can disciple people who can disciple people. And so I think it just needs to be more than Sunday. We play a huge role in MTOC from a music standpoint. But if we're only coming to play our music and then we're leaving, we're missing out on the other aspects of worship that God is asking us to go and do. And so I think making it more than just Sunday, and then paving the way for that authenticity to kind of shine in the short term. And so calling out hey, we just sang that song, but we went through the motions. We didn't believe it. And so being able to circle back and sing it again, to be like, oh, I believe it this time. And okay, now I'm locked in, kind of a deal, and making it way more passionate, I think is kind of a short term, how can we level up our game so that musicality is still very, very high and even higher. Like we can always get better at the musicality of things. And so we want to do that. But how are we as a band listening to each other? How are we as a band discipling one another and encouraging each other and listening to what God has in store for us? And how are we as a band showing up every Sunday ready to overflow so that we can turn outward and have it be that ripple effect that we were talking about?
Yeah.
And so in that, there's like the long-term prayer that I've been praying, and man, I just get jazzed about it. It's been my prayer through all of the summer this year, and to set this up, if I can. So often when I pray for things that I can do in my own strength. God, help me to sing well on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's a really good prayer. I think it's a beautiful prayer. And there's a time and a place for us to say, God, help me do the thing that you've equipped me to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer I've been receiving all summer from God is no, I don't need to help you do that. I made you to do that. Just sing.
Mm-hmm.
I made you to sing well. Just sing. Do it. Ask me for something. God's saying, ask me for something that you can't do. Ooh, like that's convicting. In the Old Testament, I can't remember.
It's getting dangerous.
Totally. I can't remember who it was, but in the Old Testament, Nehemiah, Nahum, one of those, they're going to they're sick, and the prophet comes and says, you're not going to die. And he says, in order for me to believe that that's right, I want God to move the sun back on the stairs. So, what? You're asking God to turn the world the opposite direction?
Yeah.
To prove that you're not going to die? Like, I can't even think of a scenario where I would ask for something like that, right? Like, that is a prayer that sounds so far beyond possibility that I wouldn't even think about it. But he's the God who parted the seas, right? So in that, I've been trying to think through what is the impossible prayer, right? And so in Isaiah 43, it says, if I can read these verses, it says in verse 16, it says, I am the Lord who opened a way through the waters, making a dry path through the sea. I called forth the mighty army of Egypt with all its chariots and horses. I drew them beneath the waves and they drowned, their lives snuffed out like a smoldering candle wick. Now, those verses are talking about the parting of the Red Sea, right? Like the greatest, most amazing miracle of miracles, where God brought the Israelites out of Egypt and they walked through the Red Sea on dry land, like amazing. But verse 18, which draws my attention, he says, but forget all that. What? Forget about the greatest miracle that we've ever experienced? It is nothing compared to what I'm going to do, for I'm about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. Now, prophetically, that's obviously talking about Jesus. Jesus is coming. But what stands out to me is that's still who God is. Yeah. Right? That's still who God is. He is the God of the impossible. He can take the earth and turn it the other way if he wants. He can speak and part the Red Sea. He can say, let there be light, and it exists. That's who God is. So we can ask him for impossible things. And so my prayer has been of late, you've maybe heard in like the Christian circles, 20% of people do 80% of the work. You're sort of familiar with that statement. God has said, what if you pray for the opposite? What if you flip those numbers around and pray that 80% of people show up ready to give? What if 80% of our congregation showed up ready to give their life to Jesus in surrender in whatever capacity that looked like? It would be the MTOC example every week, week after week after week. And so what I see our part in that from a music standpoint is to be ready for it, right? If we're praying and we're believing that God is going to bring 80% of people, then we got to be ready. And what ready might mean for that week for music is somebody comes into our midst. Somebody from within our congregation comes in and they've had, this is sort of the example that keeps running through my mind. They've had a terrible weekend. A tragedy has happened. They've lost a loved one or something terrible has happened. And for that Sunday, the band takes off their instruments and they go and they just sit next to that person and they pray and they love and they hold them. And we just do that for our time. And that is worship. And that is church. And we all leave church we leave that time and say, I just experienced God in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Not because the band was on fire.
Yeah.
Not because the music was perfect, but because Jesus was glorified and the body was lifted up.
Yeah.
And so I've been praying all summer for the 80%.
Yeah.
Because I imagine a church of 80% of people engaged, ready to give, ready to go. And it's just going to overflow, man.
Yeah.
20% is going to come in and be like, something's funky here.
Yeah.
I want whatever this is.
Well, you thinking about it just from like a math perspective too, like if 20% is the outflow, trying to fill up 80%.
Sure.
Everyone's going to walk away. I got a little bit from somebody, but if 80% is outflowing into 20%, that 20% is going to get more than filled up.
Oh yeah.
And then go spill out into everybody else as they go. And then it has to spill out into the rest of the week because there's nowhere else to go on a Sunday.
Right. Well, and then we're talking about multiplying churches and campuses and growing organically that way. And oh man, it is exciting. And honestly, it sounds in my like human worldly brain, having gone through church for my whole life. Yeah. It sounds impossible, but I'm in.
But that's who God is.
He can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can do it. So I'm all in.
Amen.
So I'd welcome you and everybody.
I'm gonna join you in that prayer, man.
80%. Let's pray for the 80%.
Absolutely. Sweet. Well, dude, I'm so encouraged. Like, this has been such a fun conversation. I've really enjoyed you being on here. I really appreciate everything that you're doing. I really appreciate your heart for this. And I love seeing where this is going. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. The opportunity is amazing. I feel so blessed to just get the chance to chat. This is something I'm absolutely passionate about.
I can tell. Yeah, it's infectious. It's contagious, right? Cool. Like that's the point of all of this, right? Amen. So I'm really encouraged. Is there any last thoughts that you'd like to share before we wrap this thing up?
No, let's just go be holy sacrifices to the Lord because of what He's done for us. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Not about the music, not about, let's just go. Let's go and be the doers for the Lord. Yeah. I love that.
Absolutely. Amen. Well, yeah, like I said, this has been such a blessing to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully it's been a blessing to you guys as well who are listening. I'm really encouraged. I really hope that this is something that can just keep going. That's going to be my prayer. And yeah, so share this. This has been one of my favorite conversations on the podcast
thanks, man.
So far. So I really would love for you guys to share this if this has been a blessing to you, so that we can get that number up, get that 20 to 80. Yeah, and let's go. Participate in the thing that God is doing that's impossible. Right? Like, and come alongside Him and respond to it. So thank you guys for being here. Brian, thank you again.
Thanks, Jesse.
If you guys are listening on audio platforms, we have a video version of this up on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we got this on audio platforms wherever you get podcasts. So share this with a friend. Do that whole thing. If you have any questions or thoughts that you would like to send in and share with us, you can do that at podcast@hometownchurch.com. But for now, we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.